This is basically the gold standard tool for us to understand how the social networks are structured within these villages. It allows us to draw network maps of the villages. It allows us to then do analysis on those maps. And it's also a very robust survey platform in of itself.
Trellis is a software application that we have been developing over the last few years that allows us to map face-to-face social networks in novel ways, efficiently and accurately.
Trellis has been really instrumental for our study. Based in the Copan region of Honduras. The objective is really to find out how we can maximize using social network strategies in order to help diffuse health interventions in the future. We have the opportunity of using a software like Trellis to be able to do something a little bit different that might help communities that have suffered from a lot of these health issues that have been really difficult to address.
Trellis can be used by academic researchers in the field, like we're doing in Honduras, but it could also be used by companies who want to find out how people are communicating with other people or how people are organized in their company.
By mapping networks, we can understand the spread of germs, the spread of information, the spread of ideas, the spread of norms, the spread of money, the spread of emotions. All these things spread within networks, and when you map networks, you can begin to understand this. In a sociocentric map, you specify a population and you attempt to see any and all connections between individuals in that population. And you get this ornate, beautiful network that you can then visualize and intervene in.
So we characterize the social networks using nodes and edges, the nodes being a person, a place, or a group of people, and the edges are the relationships or associations between those things. Every object, person, and location in Trellis is assigned a unique ID. This allows us to really easily organize large, complex data sets.
The Trellis client-side application is an Android app, which allows us to deploy it to tablets or phones. It's open source, which means we can extend it to other devices in the future. And it's very flexible, so it can work on a number of different devices and screen sizes.
So the software was built with flexibility in mind so that people can adapt it to their unique research projects and ideas.
The Android software is used for the data collection process. We've designed that to be very easy to use, even for people who don't have a lot of technical knowledge.
Trellis can be modified to the researcher's needs in whatever language they might need to use and whatever is culturally appropriate, for that community.
So one of the unique things about the area that we're working in is that it's basically an area with no connectivity at all. So using Trellis in the field, it makes it very easy for us to collect data and store data right on the tablet.
One of the challenges in mapping social networks, especially in developing world settings and especially in low literacy settings, is that it can be very difficult to uniquely identify individuals. We call this in part our Maria Hernandez problem. When you go into a village in Honduras and there are 200 women that live in this village and you ask them who their best friend is, many of them will say Maria Hernandez. Well, which Maria Hernandez? Which one are they referring to? In Trellis, what you can do is conduct a photographic census of all the population, load those photos into the database, and when individuals suggest who their friends are, a photo comes up and you can have unique and complete identification. This is tremendously efficient, it reduces inaccuracies, and it provides for a way to comprehensively map populations in all kinds of settings.
So basically the idea is to collect a database of people in the village, and not only do you have the people's names, you also have their photographs. You have the photographs of their houses. You have the GPS locations of those houses. So this really gives you a complete picture of who's in the village. It really unlocks the potential to then do a much deeper type of survey that you otherwise could not do.
One of the reasons we built Trellis is to give us and others a suite of tools and use those tools to go into real communities of developing world villages, of schools, of workplaces, and map the real face-to-face social interactions of people in those communities. So what we're trying to do with the Trellis software is to develop a kind of way of looking at the social fabric, a kind of socioscope, a kind of way of peering into the connections between people, a way that allows us to see human populations in completely different ways.